Jakarta, the Jakarta Post, Asia news network. In an apparent gesture to ensure business confidence, Indonesia's President Joko Widodo has reiterated his commitment to fight terrorism as he voiced support for reviving a special military unit. Speaking alongside his cabinet ministers during a Breaking the Fast event with businessmen on Friday, May 18 evening, Mr. Joko expressed resentment towards a vile terrorist ideology that had forced families and children to become perpetrators, referring to recent terror attacks in Surabaya and Sidoarjo, East Java. The government and the House of Representatives are bending over backwards to ensure that the terrorism bill is completed, he said in his speech. And the government is also in the process of establishing a KUPSUSKEB Joint Special Operations Command to provide security. His remarks seem to confirm Presidential Chief of Staff Muldoko's claim that Mr. Joko had expressed his consent to bringing back to life the Joint Command tasked with countering terrorism. The team, which included and will again include personnel of the Army's Special Forces Kopassus, the Navy's Denjaka Specialized Squad and the Air Force's Bravo 90 Special Force, would be on standby and ready to be mobilized whenever terror threats emerged, Mr. Muldoko said. Joint Force was first established under Mr. Muldoko when he served as the Indonesian military TNI commander in 2015. The Special Command's operations, however, were suspended under the leadership of Mr. Muldoko's successor, Gen. Rat. Gatot Nurmantio. On Friday, President Joko stressed that special military operations would only be conducted in situations exceeding the capacity of the national police as a preventive measure, which he claimed was more important than repressive action. The best preventive measure is to clean up education institutions, from kindergarten level to college and public spaces and forums, from misguided ideology, which terrorism is, he said. Terror attacks on Sunday and Monday in Surabaya and Sidoarjo have claimed the lives of 25 people, including the suicide bombers and some of their children, and injured at least 41. Attempted bombings were also reported at two other churches on Sunday morning, where bombs failed to detonate. Hours after the church attacks, a bomb went off prematurely at a low-cost apartment building in Wonokolo, Sidoarjo, killing 3 members of a suspected terrorist's family, the father, the mother and their eldest son. At a seemingly coincidental moment, Indonesia is facing a lot of external pressure as the rupiah continues to weaken amid a stronger US dollar, forcing Bank Indonesia to increase its policy rate, the 7-day reverse repo rate, by 25 basis points to 4.5% on Thursday evening. Foreign funds are pulling out from the emerging market as United States Treasury bill yields continue to increase amid investors' bullish sentiment over the prospects of the U.S. Federal Reserve raising interest rates more than expected this year. At least Rp 37.18 trillion $2.64 billion in portfolio investment has been withdrawn from the domestic financial market from January 2 to May 11, according to data from Bloomberg. As buy had ended its easing stance, there may be no other way to push Indonesia's economy, which grew by 5.06% year-on-year in the first quarter, other than boosting fiscal stimulus to help drive consumption, said Rosan P. Roslani, chairman of the Indonesian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Kadin, after attending Friday's event with President Joko. We heard that Malaysian Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad seeks to scrap the 6% goods and services tax, GST. We don't ask for that from Jokowi's administration, but we hope for a temporary tax incentive to lift purchasing power, he said. Bima Yudhistira Adhinegara, an economist at the Institute for the Development of Economics and Finance, INDEF, said the government should use fiscal incentives to boost industrialization, which would help reduce Indonesia's high reliance on exports of natural resource commodities.